Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Ich warte seit Wochen auf diesen Tag und tanz vor Freude über den Asphalt. Als wär's ein Rhythmus, als gäb's ein Lied, das mich immer weiter durch die Straßen zieht. Komm dir entgegen.
Hello and welcome to Gegenpressing, the Bundesliga podcast. This is the transfer show. I'm Manu and Stefan. He's Stefan Bienkowski. Stefan, first of all, how is it going in this very busy week that both of us will have a shortened week because we're both heading to weddings? So it's not our own weddings. I think probably not be able to do this show if it was our own weddings.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, it's going okay. Because of said wedding, I'm having to kind of condense more or less a full week's work into about 2.5, 3 days. So that's fun. I'm now halfway, at the end of day 2, and feel like I've just done a night shift, to be perfectly honest with you. But no, I'm good, and I'm really looking forward to kind of just sinking my teeth into this discussion today, because I think it'll be really interesting.
Yeah, today is going to be interesting. My week is not quite as terrible as yours. I'm not ending it until essentially Thursday afternoon, because I'm heading to a wedding on Penda Island, which is an island wedding. Interesting enough, this is the very place I got married, but I have an extra day, which still feels like not enough time. But today's show is going to be really interesting. Bayern Munich have signed a new sporting director in Christoph Freund. They have essentially put Leon Goretzka on the market. They have signed him, that's official now, right, as we speak today. And there's rumblings that even Joshua Kimmich could be sold. So that's a little bit of a preload on what's going to come on the show. We thought this is the transfer show, but there is so much going on at Bayern Munich this week that we figured we would have to do this entire episode on that. Fear not, there's another podcast coming with a deep dive into Borussia Mönchengladbach. So, we have another team covered. And then on top of that, next week, Stefan, I'm with Borussia Dortmund in San Diego and Las Vegas, which means there's going to be a lot of Borussia Dortmund content coming your way, which is actually, when you really think about it, good timing that Bayern Munich did all of this stuff now, because we probably won't have time to talk about it next week.
Yeah, we've been kind of complaining most of this summer about Bayern kind of dragging things out and these tedious links and stories. And, I've made a few jokes about this kind of cycle that we seem to get of Bayern transfer stories where they get linked with whoever's kind of trending on Twitter, and then 2 weeks later, it turns out they could have never afforded them in the first place. And it's just nice that they've actually got some stuff over the line all in one, so that means we can just kind of fit it all into one episode and then go back to maybe covering some of the other clubs.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's start. What should we start with? Should we start with Christoph Freund? Christoph, not Stefan, not the former Dortmund and Schalke defender. This is Christoph Freund. Should we start with him? All right. So that's out of nowhere. Good job, by the way, by them, eh? Essentially, this didn't even leak. It just got announced. And he joins effectively September 1st from Red Bull Salzburg. There's another Red Bull team, Stefan, that's probably breathing a huge sigh of relief, because effectively it means that they're not coming after that sporting director now, Max Eberl. But I actually think this is a really fascinating appointment in a lot of ways. I wrote my article for Forbes about this earlier today, and sort of the Freund has been with Salzburg in various capacities for over a decade now. He has overseen this transformation of them being a club that signed a lot of older players, and rely on them and not having much success in Austria to signing essentially young up-and-coming talent while also being this club that wins the title in Austria every year, but also plays in the Champions League on a regular basis and actually plays a pretty good role there for an Austrian team. I'm in Salzburg a lot because I have family right across the border. I go to quite a lot of the games. I've seen their training facilities. I've spent a lot of time in the stadium. I've dealt with the club, and Freund has created an atmosphere that, I think if Salzburg was just on the other side of the border, they would be a Bundesliga team, probably of the same category as a Leverkusen or even, I guess Leipzig and one of those teams, right? It's a really well-run operation, a really well-run club, a club that identifies a ton of talent, has sent 20 players to Leipzig alone. But, you need to look beyond that because there's also players like Erling Haaland, right, that have also come from there and have made it big. Dominik Szoboszlai, of course, now at Liverpool, he's a product of that Salzburg academy as well. Bayern Munich have a few as well now as well, right? Just to list them. Sabitzer is a Salzburg player. Leimer, of course, is a Salzburg player. Upamecano has a past at Salzburg. And a certain Sadio Mane does as well. Don't forget him. So, Stefan, my thesis in the article that I wrote for Forbes was that it feels almost like Bayern Munich are cutting out the middleman. Rather than paying these fees to, essentially Leipzig, they're going straight to the source, to the guy that's found these talents in the first place. And I think that is the most fascinating aspect about all of this, is that they have this academy, right, the campus, that they pay about 70 million euros a year for, that hasn't produced many up-and-coming top talent lately. The latest one who comes out of it is Musiala, and that's a little bit of a stretch because he was technically developed by Chelsea first. It does feel like a little bit of a change of a strategy for Bayern Munich by signing Christoph Freund.
Thank you for listening to Believe. You can show support to your host by subscribing to the show and giving us a 5-star rating on your preferred platform. Check us out at Believe.com and search for BLEAV on YouTube.